Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bрэndon Gorri and today I'm going to be letting you know whether or not you should buy a Mamiya 645-1000S. That's why you clicked the video, that's what you're here to learn, and I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you good. Oh my god. So about a month ago, I got tickets to go to California to visit my family, specifically Southern California, and I thought, you know what, while I'm down by the ocean, while there's seagulls in the air, while there is salt on my lips, why don't I make a review video for the Mamiya 645-1000S? I was going to be bringing it anyways, and I knew that I was going to be putting together some sort of half-assed photo walk. We're done. I'm sitting down, I'm drinking beer, and I'm relaxing. So, you know, in my mind, I'm just like, okay, we're gonna put together a photo walk. There's gonna be some decent photos that I'm taking. May as well record them. Let's put together a Mamiya review. So here we are putting it together. Getting in the ocean after so many years in Austin, Texas. We're back in the promised land, really, baby. First and foremost, I want to talk to you about the structure of the video so that we can get some timestamps going. So first I'm going to do the review about the specs of the Mamiya. We're going to go through all that. And then secondly is going to be more so this vlog style chaotic feed of me with my family spending time in Southern California. So I don't want to waste your time and I want to make sure that if you are deliberately wasting your time that you know exactly which parts of the video it's going to happen. So let's get into it. Alright, so you're wondering, and you've probably gone through eBay 100,000 times, you look at all these different reviews and you're like, looking at all the different versions of the Mamiya 645, and you're just like, wow, what, is this even for me? Should I grab this camera? Should I grab another version of it? Where the hell, who am I and why?
Let's just wrap this up now.
So where do we begin? Let's begin as if we're taking our first photo, right? So I'm gonna walk you through the different steps for how you would approach this camera after immediately getting it in the mail at around 4:30 p.m. Golden hour starts at around 5 o'clock and you've got film in the fridge waiting. So first and foremost, what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at this back panel here and you're gonna get the film ready. So you push this guy in right here. You're gonna push this little arrow thing along and that's gonna release it and the spring will push it back and you just let it fall out. And if you're me, you've got Pro 400H sitting in the camera. Oh my gosh. Anywho, so you've opened the flap now, right? You wanna pinch the sides of where it says 120. That will release. You just pull this guy right out, right? Let me just put that right there. So once you've got this guy taken out of your camera and you've got the film that you left in there for a month and a half out of the camera as well, you're gonna have an empty spool or you're gonna have one that has one of these guys left over at the top. And let me tell you right now what you're gonna be doing. So you're gonna take this empty guy, you're gonna take this empty spool holder and you're gonna put it in the bottom. And when I say bottom, I mean you're gonna put it in the one where it says you're gonna be inserting the film into it, right? So if you put this guy right here, you know that you're gonna be feeding your film into it, which can only mean that you put your fresh roll of film in the top. Now these things are really easy to load. They're like almost spring activated. You just pull these guys out, load your film in, and I want you to make sure that when you are loading your film out, and pulling your film out across this guy, that you've got the black facing towards you. So you're gonna load your film into here and then you're gonna pull out this way towards you and then you're gonna feed it into this guy. In fact, you know what? I've got a video somewhere where you can see how to load it. Close that guy and Bob's your uncle. Now when you do that, you're gonna wind this guy and it's gonna go around like 4, 5, 6 times and then it will actually stop and then you're gonna see in this little number area that'll show you which exposure you're at, and it should stop you at the number 1. From there, you've got your film loaded. Now what are you gonna do? All right, now there's 2 shutter releases for this camera, depending on which prism you have. So obviously I've got a finder, which means my most convenient shutter release is going to be right here at the bottom, so I can hold it like a machine gun, pretty much, right? And also, you'll also note that down here, this is where the locking mechanism for the 645-1000S is. Your second shutter release, if you've got a waist level viewfinder, is going to be right here on top. Let me turn this guy back to wide on white and crank that lever. And here we go again, boom. So moving on, you've taken your shots. Your lenses are gonna be pretty much the same as all your other lenses. You've got aperture control around the ring. You've got a pretty smooth focus ring right here. Here I wanna show you what the inside of the viewfinder actually looks like if you've got a prism like me. It's very interesting. It's got a really nice smooth focus, and it lets a lot of light in so you can see all the most important things that you're focusing on. If you look at the other side here, this is where you've got control for your shutter speeds. So here you've got your shutter speeds. Obviously they go all the way to bulb, which is nice if you've got some ridiculously long exposure you're looking to get. And from bulb, it starts at 8 seconds of exposure. And this is the 1000S. So obviously your highest shutter speed is gonna be 1/1000th. Past 1/1000th, there's gonna be this little red dot, and that's gonna be your aperture priority. So you can set this guy, it's an electronic prism, to aperture priority, and in there you'll see the prism, it's got an actual light meter, and it's pretty accurate. Most of the shots that you see, in fact, all of the shots that you're gonna look at on this photo walk were metered by the light meter itself and not by any external light meter that I had on me or any of the apps that I was using. The ISO setter for this camera is on the side here as well. So you just pull this little ring out and you can adjust it like so. It's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. It's a lot like 35 millimeters, how 35 millimeter cameras, they've usually got it to the side of the viewfinder. You can just pull that up and change it. Just like that, on this side, you pull this knob out away from you or towards you, whichever way you're holding the camera, and you just twist it. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. Something that is really important that I do want to talk to you about is if you look at the back of the camera, you've got these 2 buttons. One of them you push down to release the second one right here. And when you push those 2 guys, it actually releases your prism. And once you have the prism released, you're gonna see this big screen right here. That's obviously your viewing screen. And you can exchange the prisms as well. Now, on your viewing screen, you're gonna have these 2 major screws, and there you can pull the screen off, and this is very important because underneath this screen, you're gonna find 3 small little screws. These screws are what your screen rests on, and they will determine the distance that light travels between your eyes and the actual lens itself. And that's important because that distance needs to be the exact same as when the light passes through the lens and hits your film. So if those distances are different, then what you see through your viewfinder and what seems to be in focus is not actually going to be in focus. If you look underneath the camera, you're gonna see your standard tripod mount right here, the 1/4 inch threaded hole. As well as that, you're gonna see a little battery spot right here. This guy takes 6 volts. I know that's upside down, here you go. This guy takes 6 volts. And it doesn't run out of battery very quickly unless you leave the prism on, which I did, and so the battery is currently not working. It is dead, so I'm gonna take it out for you. So you just lift this little guy right here, booyah, it flops out. And just to show you exactly which battery you need to get, because I've got modern ones in here, not some crazy stuff from like 20 years ago that you can't buy. Let's see, it is it's a Duracell 28L. So that's what you gotta buy. And mind you, I went to 4 different CVS's and Targets in Southern California to get one of these batteries while I was there, and they didn't have them. So you can get these from Batteries Plus or obviously online, but just like forewarning, don't set out for your local convenience store thinking that they're gonna have these. They're actually kind of hard to find in the public, in the wild. As well as that, on the right side of the camera, you're gonna have your mirror up function for your long exposures so that that mirror isn't slapping the camera, changing all the vibrations and inherently blurring your photo. And on the right, you're gonna have your multiple shot lever. And so basically, it's double exposure. So as many shots as you want to put onto a single negative space, you can do that by just hitting this little lever right here. Wow, there you go, twist it on, and there you go. That will actually bar this thing from moving the film itself, rather only winding it back for another shot. I'm not that creative. I don't ever use it. I'm not gonna get some chick's neckline with a forest in the background and merge those two things together. That's just not me. I don't use double exposures. More important features on this camera are right here. This is gonna be your self timer in this little bottom right-hand corner. So to do the self timer is what you're gonna wind this back like that. Now make sure before you actually wind that back that this lever is wound up, otherwise it's not gonna work. So once you have that wound, there's another little lever below it, which you're just gonna push. And there you go, that's your self timer. You can obviously hear it, it's pretty annoying. It's like the sound of a baby lizard trying to mate. Not my favorite sound. And there it is. I think that just about covers everything for the camera. It's got a lot of advanced features, especially for its time. And I really, really enjoy that there are these things, you know, like it's nice to pick up a camera and you've got all these little bells and whistles and you're like, whoa, those things do really, you know, they're really helpful. Like it makes this camera very functional and very versatile for a lot of things, both in the studio and, you know, on a beach shooting a sunset. So that being said, let's move into the photo walk. Let's move into the fun. Let's go from one side of the brain to the other. We just did technical stuff. I'm tired. I don't like shooting this sort of stuff. I think we should saunter our way over to that photo walk and really get to know the colors and the juices that this camera has to offer. Steering wheel, there's a chain and it's like heart-shaped. It's a heart-shaped steering wheel chain. It's like they put the movie Heathers on the steering wheel. That's the vibe. It's calling us. The deal. We came out and the sun was still in the sky. What we weren't expecting were a lot of clouds. So we might get one more shot in, but I'm thinking we're gonna come back out tomorrow and finish the rest of this Portra 160. And then we're gonna go into the Cinestill T800 and it's going to be a bomb. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be nuclear. next shots are all taken on Cinestill 800T in Newport Beach. And it was my last day with my family, so I didn't really want to lug around my camera and take B-roll for the shots. So instead you're gonna get some shots without context, but just know it's at Newport Beach. The sun was really bright, it was about midday, and there were a lot of people there. Enjoy. Well, thank you guys for watching the video. If you really enjoyed your time here, and I mean, if you really enjoyed watching this video, if this buttered your bread, like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. See you later.